Hi, I'm Kason.
Hi, I'm Shane.
Hi, I'm Nick.
So today we have a special guest, a company director of BNL Productions. And that special guest is
Nick Hutchinson. How's your day been, Nick?
My day has it's been dead on. I'm actually really happy today. Um, I'm a wee bit sad about. Is this the last extreme? Have I got that wrong?
no, I think there should be a few more.
There should be a few more to happen.
Well, I'm so delighted to be here at Extreme in this really cool new room. I'm loving the mood lighting. I'm loving the lighting next door here. And
Nice.
I'm delighted to be. I've only ever done one podcast before, but this kind of feels a bit more chilled and less pressure.
Yeah.
And it was nice to meet you guys, and I'm looking forward to answering some of your questions. I have not been prepped on what they might be, so let's see.
Isn't
They're not too hard.
Not too hard. That's good. I should
So,
be
Nick, can you tell us about your extreme journey so far?
So, let me see if I can tell a slightly
different story?
same. I mean, not made up, not a different story, but maybe a different approach. So, 1999. Does that seem like really long, like prehistoric? for you guys?
For us, it's a bit long ago.
Yeah, I would thought so.
Long enough.
When were you guys born? If you don't mind me asking the question.
2012.
2012. My goodness. Okay. So 1999 was a time when two of my friends, Bradley and Loney, we started. I didn't want to do it because it was a cross community thing, and I wasn't really in that mindset. I hadn't done anything like that before. It was very unusual to me, and I decided to come because I heard about all the music they were playing and all this type of stuff, and I thought this was my. I was really into media, really into music. I still am, and I just really wanted to do it. And it was kind of the technology of it and going live on FM, so people could hear their houses and the car. I just thought this was so exciting, so I went and decided to do it, and I absolutely loved it. And our radio station show, it was called the Brad Nick and Loney Show, and that's what our company is called now. So BNL, Brad Nick and Loney. So that's our business kind of came from the radio show that we had here, and our radio show we absolutely loved. We put so much time and effort into it. We would prep for days and days and hours before each show. We'd be making custom jingles, intros to the shows. We'd be, prepping lots of things in terms of we used to do prize giveaways. We would do silly competitions where we'd decide, right, where in the world has the most expensive apple pies in McDonald's. So we would get out, I think we could use Google back then, that we must have, because we would Google, we had a computer, a keyboard, and we would Google phone numbers in America for like New York, Times Square, McDonald's, and we would ring them up live on the air, and they'd be like, hello, this is Courtney McDonald's, and we're like, hello Courtney, it's Nick, Brad, Nick and Loney here on Extreme FM. We're just wondering, she was like, I'm sorry, is it, yes, we're just wondering, how much are your apple pies? They were like, they're $2 for $1. Okay, thank you, Courtney. And we would just ring random countries. So it used to be total nonsense. We also used to do a thing called Brad, it only wasn't in this one, it was called Brad and Nick's Sunday Morning Hangover Show.
Hi.
And we would come into the studio at like 7 in the morning on a Sunday morning, and we would get people on our phone contacts and ring them live on the air and wake them up. And we used to do things like we had a jingle made, and it was like we played the jingle after it. I remember ringing my boss in B&Q. Her name was Margot, and she was Scottish, and she was a bit, growly is a word to describe her. So we decided to ring Margot and got her on the phone, and we would say, hello. She would answer the phone going, hello, because it would ring for ages. And if they didn't answer the phone in the morning, we'd ring back again, just so they, so it seemed urgent. And she answered the phone, and she was like, hello. And we're like, hello, is this Margot? Yes, this is Margot. And then we would play this music and be like, dun dun la 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 dun dun dun. And then we'd come on the microphone going, good morning, Margot, you're live on Brad and Nick's Sunday Morning Hangover Show. How do you feel? And then put our mic live again. What? Hello? Who's this? He's like, Margot, it's Nick from B&Q. How you doing? Oh my goodness. That particular one, she was raging. I should have got the sack, but I didn't. So that was a good fun show. I had another show with a girl called Adele, and we just played music and stuff. And then at a show later down the line with Fraser, it was good crack. But yeah, the Brad Nick and Ronnie show was kind of just real good fun. Still have all the jingles. And then we changed the show to like a live performance, kind of like, do you ever watch Ant and Dec, like Saturday Night
Yeah.
Live?
Yes.
So we did a thing called, do you ever hear Visions for Tomorrow? Do they still do that? Up in Cormilla? Do they still do it? So we then were paid by the Education Authority to run the entertainment. So it was a big marquee. We would get lights, microphones, speakers, and we also used to do a DVD, like a documentary every day, and a newspaper. It was like quite a big contract. So we'd do a highlights video, show it that night. We'd have making newspapers printed for the next morning. And on some of the evenings, well, on every evening we had some sort of entertainment. It might have just been karaoke or something like that. But on some of the evenings we had a full big production where, you know, it was scripted. We came out in tuxedos and we would play games, kind of girls versus boys. And one of them was you had a big long table. And you know, you'd have 5 boys and 5 girls. And we'd say this next game, you need coordination, skill, and a thick stomach or something like this. And then they would pick, right, we're going to pick Davy here for this game, or we're going to pick Sinead for the girls. And they would have to do things like put vinegar in their mouth and blow it down a hose pipe. And who was the first person to fill the bottle up on the other end? And then everybody was going, you know, girls, or the boys, boys. So the Brad, Nick and Ronnie show became, you know, like a kind of a live show, you know. So for us it was, you know, we felt like we were on TV. We felt this is big, and we took it really seriously. And sometimes we had disagreements about it because we wanted to make it so good. But yeah, it was brilliant. It was cracking. So that's hopefully I've rambled enough about there. That hopefully answers your question. Question number 1. Hopefully there's not loads of questions, or we'll be here all night. But
I
just
think
tell me when you want me to wrap up here.
I think
Just
we
one
just
more
have
question.
one more question.
One more question? You've got 12 pieces of paper. Have I answered all your questions, or are you like, this is running over way too long and you just want to get some cake outside?
No.
No, we've actually
We
just
haven't answered all of our questions yet.
Oh, I haven't. Right. I haven't answered all the questions, but apparently there's only one more question left.
I think I have a question about that. The thing you just talked about in my head. What was your first ever show? Like no,
ever show?
like first ever show, podcast, whatever you want to call it.
First ever show, again, would have been in the room next door. It used to be here or here. But I remember, and I have always noticed this, even when technology changes, the very first show, before you put the mic live button on, my hands were always like this. I had a bit of nerves. And I think that's always a good sign, because it means that they're taking it seriously. You know, because they're on air, they don't want to maybe say something wrong, and they're taking it seriously. So I remember that was our first, but I can't really remember about the content of it. I just, I know that every show, we always played one song at least once, and it was the song, it's called, oh goodness, who sings it? Song 2 by Blur. Do you know the song? It goes, woohoo, dun 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 dun.
Oh,
dun,
that
dun,
song.
dun, dun,
I think
dun,
I heard
dun.
it.
I think.
Yeah.
Oh
So
yeah.
we'd always play it because it's exactly 2 minutes long, and we always used to have to go in the news on the hour. So, and there was a 15, so basically 4 o'clock, we would cut the Cool FM for the news. But 15 seconds before that, you had to play a jingle. It was like, now on Extreme FM, we're courtesy of Cool FM, we're going to hear the news. So it meant, because my maths is really bad and I'm not very academic, I knew that 2 minutes and 15 seconds before the hour, if we played song 2, and then played the jingle for the news, and then cut to Cool FM, it was always going to be bang on time. So, yeah,
It's very good timing.
very good time.
Very organised.
Timing is crucial.
Anyone who's watching the video, or for us two in here, would you have any advice for any of us who would like to start a show?
Well, what about you guys? Are you guys a duo in your show, or are you going to be doing this?
I don't know,
You
because
Maybe.
I think we have good communication, so I don't know. I feel pretty confident in doing it.
Good. You
So-
look confident. You sound confident. That's always key. And have you got a show name yet?
Not yet.
Not yet. Should we brainstorm now quickly? Have you want to throw out any ideas? So sorry, what's your names again?
Shane and Kason.
Kason. Shane and Kason. So it could be as simple as the Shane and Kason show.
Or KNS or something like that.
KNS is good. I like KNS. What do you think of KNS? So to answer your question, in terms of what advice I would give for a show, I think have fun, talk about what you want to talk about, do it with people that you get on with, and ultimately have a bit of crack.
Especially if it's with your friends, close family.
Totally,
Buddy.
totally. Have a bit of crack. Don't worry.
Oh, thank you. Kason, do you have
Thank you.
anything to say?
Thank you, Nick, for coming, and we hope you enjoyed the rest of your day, of course, and have some fun out there. I'm sure there's going to be loads of cake and all. Loads of food.
Yeah.
Bye, Nick.
Okay,
Bye,
thank
Nick.
you guys.
Okay, if you could be a superhero or have a superpower, which one would you pick and why?
Oh my goodness. Oh, that's a really tricky one. I'm not really into my superheroes, so it'll probably be a superpower.
Yeah.
My superpower would be, oh my goodness, don't know. There's so many because I'm thinking of things in my head. So I suppose you could be invisible, but
You could stop time. You could be
Yeah.
super fast.
super fast, super strong.
Oh, true.
I'm trying to think of like my dog. And it's really super weird. It would actually help me. My superhero is to be able to understand animals because
Yeah.
I have 3 cats and a dog, and my house is
No.
bedlam.
way.
So it
Yeah,
is
I
with the
w-
pets.
Yeah,
So-
I work at a doggy park, so I wish I
really?
could hear what they're saying.
Exactly. So it is. Sometimes they're looking at you and you're like, do you want out? Do you want fed? Do you need
Yeah.
water? Is that water not good enough for you?
Or they're
I
barking.
don't know.
And you're like,
Yeah.
what do you mean by this? Like, what does this barking mean?
Exactly. So yeah.
Oh, okay. So we'll be talking to animals. Next question would be, in school, what was your favourite subject?
I had 2.
Ooh.
So one was sport. I loved sport. So I did netball, swimming were kind of my favourite. And I still swim and walk every day.
That's amazing.
Yeah. But the other one, geek, maths.
I loved maths before GCSEs. It was my favourite subject
Oh,
ever.
really? And is
Yeah.
it not anymore?
No, I don't know why. I just stopped liking it after having so much tests on it, you know?
I know it gets a bit pressurized then.
But I loved maths. I was just looking through like an old diary and I opened it thinking I was going to find secrets and it was just maths. It was just questions. And I went up and showed my mum and I was like, what is this?
I know, because I just love maths, working out puzzles and
Yeah.
the way everything kind of made sense. That when you got an answer, you could go back to make sure that it was right by doing another sum. And it just made sense to me. And I know
Yeah.
that's not the same with everybody. So, but yes, I loved maths.
Okay, and what did you do after A levels? Like, did you go to uni? Did you take like another course?
So I went to uni.
Ooh,
So I started off doing sports development and community development over in Edge Hill, over in England,
yeah.
which I absolutely loved. And I came out of it, and what I really wanted to do was sports development.
Yeah.
But you couldn't get a job without experience. You couldn't get experience without
The
job,
job.
fish circle. So I actually volunteered full time for Voluntary Service Belfast.
That's really great.
And while I was there, and it was just to get experience, and while I was there, they put me through my youth work qualification. And on the youth work qualification, I met Kevin, who
Oh,
also was doing the qualification. And we've just discussed it there tonight that it was actually 21 years ago.
oh my God.
Yes, that we did that
That's
qualification.
amazing.
But yeah, so we did that, and I kind of fell into youth work.
Yeah.
I worked in Belfast. I worked up here for Drumgour Detached. I worked in Christmas Women's Centre, and then I went to Clonerne, and then I went back to uni and did a postgrad in community youth work, and then moved jobs to the Education Authority to my job now.
That is really good.
Yeah.
Full life you've lived. Like, oh my God.
It was a really unexpected thing because I always thought, like, sport, I loved it so much, loved everything about it. But just the way things fell, I fell into youth work, and I absolutely loved youth
Oh,
work.
I'm glad you
So I
still.
did, yeah.
I'm glad you don't regret your choices.
No, definitely not. So now, instead of being hands on with young people, I get to help
Yeah.
youth clubs, by funding
Yeah.
programs like this.
That
so
is
it's
amazing.
great. Yeah,
Yeah. All worked out then.
exactly. It was brilliant.
If you could choose to like stay here or go over to England with all the experience you have, where would you choose to be?
Here, 100%.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Definitely. The people here there's something about them. They're so resilient, interesting, welcoming. They're just warmer, I
Yeah.
think. So,
Definitely. I've experienced a lot of that in this club.
yeah.
Definitely. I think that's all the questions I have for you.
Well, it's been lovely talking to you. Emma.
Thank
Thank you
you.
very much.
Very nice meeting you.
Cheers.
First question. How are you doing?
I'm grand, Alec. Yeah, I had a really good day here today. I got an invite from June. It's just at the front desk to go down and see your 25-year celebration. So yeah, I had a good day. So feeling good today. Yeah.
So in the past, when we went to school, what was your favorite subject?
I liked history when I was at school.
History.
Yeah, history was my favourite subject. Now I didn't really qualify in anything to do with it, but I look forward to history when history and geography, the sciences and they weren't really for me, and maths, but the terms of history, geography, English, that type of stuff, I like those subjects. Yeah.
What was the most interesting one?
I think history was the most interesting one because obviously you're learning about stuff that you didn't know about, and now back then we obviously didn't have the same media facilities and internet facilities that you guys would have now. So all the learning we done was literally out of textbooks and books. So there was no online studies or anything like that. So, and no Word documents. It was all literally handwritten, no homework and things like that. So it's changed times now, Alec,
So do you think you would learn better on a handwritten textbook or online?
Me personally, I like to see things on a page rather than reading it off a screen. I think you can take it in more easy if it's like written on a page rather than written on a screen, literally turning over a page rather than sliding up and down a screen.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah.
I agree. So do you have a hobby?
I suppose you could. I like sport, and I'm a member of my local GAA club, Shane O'Neill's GFC in Camla, where I'm the PRO, the public relations officer for that club. So any content that is on social media and things like that, I'm responsible for putting it out there and promoting the activities within the club. I also coached 10, 15 years maybe. So last year was my last year coaching this year, so I'm getting too old for that coaching carry on now. So let the younger ones come in behind. They're fitter than I am and better ideas than I have. So but yes, I love following the activities of the GAA club. Yeah.
That's very fun. Yeah. Would you want to continue coaching if you?
No. If I was continue coaching, it would be at a really really young age group. The further they go up the age groups now, the more technical it gets, and the more tactics that's involved in games. Whereas if you're coaching 8, 9, 10-year-olds, it's just about having fun, having a bit of crack, getting them their basic skills and all. So if I was ever to coach again, it would be towards that age group. Say you're really getting the basic skills in there, and you can still have that wee bit of fun. And listen, don't get me wrong, you still have your fun and your crack as you go up through the years, but the older you get, the more serious and the competition gets, you know.
Yeah. Have you ever competed in any competitions?
Me personally,
Yeah.
well, I played for my local club, and played in my school team. So yeah, more from a school team than I would have participated in GA competitions throughout the country. Yeah.
Okay. Do you have any pets?
We have 2 dogs at home. We had 3 until earlier this year, but unfortunately one passed away, so now we have 2. One will be 14 in next week, actually. Yeah. And one is, they'll be 4 next year. So 2 dogs. One's a Fox Terrier, that's the younger one, and the older one is a crossbreed between a Cairn Terrier and a miniature Schnauzer. But he's got really, really old, but he's slowed up, but he's the old man of the house now.
Dogs are good companions.
Yeah.
obviously.
Yeah.
What are their names?
The older one is called Ruggles.
Ruggles.
Ruggles, I'll tell you the story behind that. And the younger one is called Quincy. So I have a brother-in-law that lives in America, in Boston, and he lives about 30 miles south of Boston. So while we were taking the train into Boston City one day, we went through a stop called Ruggles, and my wife says, if we ever get a new dog, that's what we were calling it. So that's how the Ruggles got his name.
That's very sweet.
Yeah.
And Quincy was from.
Quincy, again, it was my wife's mother's dog, but he was too mad for them, put it like that. You know, they weren't fit to look after him. So again, my wife's brother lives in Boston, so there's a place in Boston called Quincy Market. So that's another connection to Boston. So any dogs that they have, they would have a connection to Boston. They had one called Logan at one time, which is the name of the airport in Boston. So there's just a Boston connection with their pet names. Yeah.
One last question. For
Yes,
you.
Alec. Yeah.
It's very out of the blue. If you had one superpower, what would it be and why?
Wow. I think I would like to be invisible.
Invisible?
Yeah.
Why
And
is that?
You could see what was going on. People wouldn't know you were there. You could listen to them. People wouldn't know you were there, and you could hear them going on.
That's very true.
Yeah.
I agree. All right. Thank you very much.
You're
for
welcome,
your time
Alec.
then.
Thank you. Thank you. Well done.
Thank
Well
you.
done.
Hello, I'm Casey.
I'm Orla. And I'm Maya, and we're with David from Technavan Youth Club.
So how are you, David?
I'm very well, thank you, girls. This is my first time doing a podcast, so
Same.
wee bit nervous, but getting there.
I know, same. So how was it like being a youth worker?
So that's a big question. I suppose there's different elements to the job that we do, different parts of it. Overall, I enjoy it. It's about putting young people first, trying to give them new experiences and having a bit of crack, which hopefully I do with yourselves through different projects.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I work for Education Authority Youth Service, and I'm the area worker for Lurgan.
How did you first get into youth work?
So I would have attended some kind of youth clubs when I was younger, back in Scotland, and then I kind of just fell into it, I suppose. I was working full time in a bank about over 10 years ago, and saw a job advert for a part-time youth worker in my hometown, and literally just applied for it and kind of fell into it that way. Fell in love with it, started working more hours, and then did it full time in Scotland, then moved across to the north of Ireland.
What did you think of the talk today in the hall?
I thought it was brilliant. I think, as you can see, sometimes there's a legacy with youth centres a lot of times. So if you look at the youth centre you attend, you will probably find that, you know, parents, grandparents, aunties, uncles would have attended the to Gnavan Youth and Community Centre as well. But I think part of the projects don't always have a legacy. And I like the fact that Extreme FM has a direct legacy that's been going 25 years, and that today you can see the people who've went on to do all kinds of wonderful things, and they started off by doing something similar like this. So it's brilliant for us as youth workers to be able to see real skills that a project can give you.
Did you always want to be a youth worker, or did you have anything else in mind when you were younger?
No, when I was younger, I think I had always kind of liked the idea of teaching. So I suppose in a way within education in some form. So I was always quite interested in history and politics. So I thought about maybe doing that. But when I kind of fell out of school, I wasn't the best at studying. So I hadn't made the grades to go to university to study history or politics. So we just kind of working, and then fell into youth work and ended up doing youth work at uni.
When did you move here and why?
So I moved from Scotland in August 2019, so 5 years ago. So initially I only came for, it was supposed to be 9 months, because my partner was doing her teaching degree at Queen's University. So we moved to Belfast for 9 months. That was the intention. And then I got this job, and we just kind of liked it in Belfast instead. Pretty much.
If you were able to do another job, would you, and what job?
That's a tough question. I've always says that I would love to be a postie, because you're kind of out and about walking all day. You're your own boss, a postman.
David knocking your door.
Yeah, and you're still kind of talking to people. But in saying that, as I was walking in today, I saw the postie for Tignavan, and I looked absolutely drenched in the weather.
They
Yeah,
always do.
so I don't know. I think I would have liked to have given teaching a chance at some stage, but I think if I was to move away from youth work, I wouldn't mind getting into community development or something like that, working maybe with adults instead of just young people.
What do you do in your free time, when you don't do youth work?
So I've got 2 kids, one at 6 and one at 1. So they definitely keep me very busy. So spend a lot of time with my kids, partner kind of at home. Like to go out and about, socialise, like football, occasionally now watch a bit of GA since moving here. All just kind of normal things like that.
She didn't realise that you liked football.
Yes.
Who do sport?
A good Scottish team, the champions.
For Gaelic?
No. For what? For Gaelic?
What about Gaelic?
For Gaelic, I'm split between.
Better say it.
Yeah. I was always split between kind of. I had family from Donegal, so I was split for Donegal. But ever since this kind of summer, because my partner's from Lurgan, Armagh.
Yeah, go. Yeah. Right up there.
What age were you when you started getting grey hairs?
Did you have a lot of them like it should be?
I can't say that I've kept direct track on
62
when I
years?
first got grey hairs.
62 years ago? Was it
62 years ago, yeah. Yeah, no idea when I first started getting grey hairs, but I think working in Tignavan is definitely giving me
All the
more.
kids and all.
Yeah.
I've got a question.
Yeah.
So, what's your favourite, out of the seniors and the juniors, what's your favourite, to work with?
Like age group?
Age groups, so I always liked working with seniors more. I felt as though you could have more of an impact on them, and some of the opportunities you'd be able to provide, such as things like this, or other residentials and programs you'd have taken part in, the level of youth work you can engage in, I certainly liked more. Juniors is really important to work with young people at that age, but it wouldn't have been as much of a forte as mine as working with seniors type things. So I certainly like to work with seniors, and I particularly like kind of working on maybe leadership, communication, those type of things. And that's obviously a project that we'd done previously, and now you're involved in kind of, I suppose, a degree of a communication and technology project.
What's your favourite residential that can come to mind?
Um,
Or the most chaotic one?
Most chaotic. How long have you got? No. I would say one of the best ones I would say was definitely with yourself. So we went to Jungle and I as part of the Pathway to Horizons program.
Yeah, that
It was very chilled. It was good. I liked the activity at Jungle and I. The best residential I ever did, I would have to say, was Horizons Cohort 1 to Clare in July 2022.
What you doing though?
we camped on a campsite in the absolute middle of nowhere in County Clare,
We should do
away down in the west of Ireland, and you got taken off site every day to go and do a variety of things like surfing, kayaking. We went on speedboats, we went on different things, and there was groups there from South Belfast, North Belfast, and Fermanagh, all in the same campsite. So it was a bit chaotic, but very good as well.
Do you
Definitely.
hope there's more trips in the future, or do you just hope it's all laid back?
No, I
Just the youth
love
club.
doing trips. I just like it when the young people are maybe slightly laid back. No, listen, that's the nature of youth work as well. It's, you know, we're not all perfect and we're not all calm, cool and collected sometimes, including myself. So there is more trips, so there's brilliant programmes that are up and coming. For example, there's now another Horizons programme. They're getting to go to France
Barbados.
next year. There's groups from Drumgore Youth Centre that are going to London. There's groups from Tullygalley Youth Centre that are looking to go to Boston. So there's lots of opportunities in youth work. And what I always say is, particularly with people like yourselves who are kind of up and coming and maybe approaching the right age, you know what I mean, 15, 16, when you're approaching that age group, then there's lots of opportunities. Just get stuck into as many programmes as you can, which you have done by being involved in this programme.
Do you have any trips or like residentials for us planned for Christmas that we've been talking about?
Planned for Christmas. Yes, we all went on a lovely trip on Friday the 6th of December to Brownlow Youth Resource Centre.
I just had to check.
I just realised that was today's date.
Yes, that's today's
Will there
day.
be any like actual
Trips planned.
even?
No, I don't think there's anything planned in the present. There's a pantomime. There's the whole of the juniors going from Tignabon tonight to the pantomime. I know.
Would you bring us to the markets in Belfast?
Would I bring you to the Christmas markets in Belfast? Not at this point.
Not at this
Because we've been
point.
off for a couple of weeks as well. If our Tuesday night project, if we'd been on, we might have been able to plan something like it. But there was nothing planned this present.
We should plan something for January.
Definitely.
A residential.
For real?
We'll certainly look into it.
You know our podcast that we're doing. Do you think you'd watch it?
Definitely, I think I like podcasts, particularly if you can listen to it and when you're driving to put it through the Bluetooth. So I think if I'm able to in any way like save this, or if it's, I don't know if it will be on Spotify, but it's on a website at all. If you can listen to it, put it through the radio, and certainly I will listen to it because it's very interesting and it's really interesting and good to hear your views on different stuff as well.
Would you have any ideas for what we could talk about?
Or tips?
Tips. I always think kind of rights and responsibilities is quite a big one. So, what age do you think you should be allowed to do stuff? When do you think you should be able to vote? You know, different things like that. What your rights are. I always think doing rights-based stuff is quite interesting. I seem to have missed whatever just happened there.
I don't even know.
Are you named?
I flipped you off. Your phone and I flipped you off and there's a camera.
What did you mean you flipped me off? Give me the right. Okay. Don't worry, you'll be able to edit it out. Right? Time. So yeah, I would say anything that's important to you is important to talk about. Just pick something that you don't all talk about and talk freely about. So it could be whether or not Tignabon should be open to 10 o'clock at night. It should be you should be allowed to buy Boost age 7. It should be
7?
you're allowed
7,
to
yeah.
see it's a talking point, isn't it? It should be that bus travel should be free for all young people. I don't know.
I think we're going to be doing TV shows and rating them and stuff. And then I think another one was we were going to do is true crime stories.
True crime would be a good one. Another one would be to make your fellow podcasters do a bush trucker trial live on the podcast.
Bush trucker trial. Is that what they're doing? I'm a celebrity. Get me
Yeah,
wrong
I'm a celeb.
Oh, I'd love to put their head in a box and just put
Yes.
spiders on top of them.
But how have you enjoyed this programme so far?
I've loved it.
Yeah? Definitely.
Sorry, our dad's kind of
Yes.
bombing us.
No, that's okay.
We're gonna wrap it up.
Yes, I
This
think
is
we're
it.
Wrap it
at
up.
time.
This
Right?
is
Right, that's
No
us
worries.
done
Thanks
then.
very much. Right.
Right,
Back
bye.
in.
How did I speak, guys?
That's good.
Right, so what is your name?
My name is Paddy, or, well, everybody calls me Paddy, but my real name is Patrick.
So, Patrick, what is your current job?
My current job, so I am a centre-based youth worker for the Education Authority Youth Service. I run a youth centre called Tullygalley Youth Centre, which is just across the road. So I'm the kind of manager of that centre, so I kind of manage all the programmes that go on, what young people can get involved in, and I look after then the part-time staff and kind of make sure they're kind of doing what they do.
That's nice to hear.
What do you enjoy about your job, Paddy?
What I enjoy about my job, I love the fact that every day is different. Whilst we kind of have the same age groups come in certain times of the week or whatever, you just don't know what you're going to get with young people. So I love that. I love that kind of not knowing. I mean, we plan everything. We plan all of our sessions, all our programs. So you think it would be predictable, but naturally when you're working with people aren't predictable. So you just don't know what you're going to get every day with people kind of coming in. Somebody could be in a really, really good mood, or they could come in, they're quite low or whatever. So every day is completely different and something kind of new.
Just like a little present every day then.
Yeah.
Something new every day.
It's a little gift every day. Yeah. That definitely is my favourite part. To be fair, I love the most of my job, mostly everything, but it's that kind of not knowing what's going to come.
That's nice to hear. So what would you say, in your opinion, is the best thing about your current job?
The best thing about my current job, my goodness, that's a question. I suppose, so the centre that I actually run is a centre that I used to go to as a young person. So I think the best thing for my job is actually being able to run that centre. So that's the community I'm from, that's where I live. So being able to provide those opportunities for young people that I had whenever I was younger is amazing. It's an absolute gift. So yeah, that would be the best thing, I think.
So you've had experience working or being there, and
yeah,
you know how a place
I've been
runs?
there now obviously quite a few years ago now, but yeah, I was a young person there, so I kind of understand kind of some of the issues that are the current young people are going through. So yeah, I've had that experience. I know that community. I know the kind of some of the things that are affecting people. So yeah, it's good.
So if this is not all relevant, why do you think it's a good thing to work with like kids and all?
Why do I think it's a good thing to work with kids? I suppose it's about providing opportunities. So young people get a bad rap, and they can get a bad rap. So I think when we're kind of working in the youth centres and giving young people opportunities to do programs, go places, I think that's kind of, it's important. A lot of the young people, a lot of the young people come into my centre maybe don't really see bright futures for themselves. So it's really, really important that we kind of give them the space, the time to think about that, to think about, okay, well, what can we do to encourage you to try stuff, try new things, you know, they've maybe never experienced. I have a group currently in July are going to be going out to America. So, and those kids would probably never have had that opportunity. That's something they would never have imagined being able to do. So I think that's really, really important, just to kind of broaden people's horizons, all that kind of stuff.
If you were to change your job, what would you do?
If I were to change my job, what I would do, there would be less paperwork. A lot of people think that a youth worker is just you open your centre at night and you work with young people and you get them in to play a game of pool. Yes, that is my job, but that's not all of my job. A lot of during the day is a lot of paperwork, being in an office, filling in forms and all that kind of stuff. That would be the part I would change that. Get rid of the paperwork, as much of the paperwork as I could, to allow me to spend more time working with young people.
So just as a last question, if you don't mind, what is, in your opinion, the least favorite thing about your job?
The paperwork. Again, that was quite simple. It's literally the paperwork. So, yeah, being stuck in a kind of office. Now, don't get me wrong. My office is in this building that we're in Brownlow here, and it's good to be around other youth workers who are all doing their paperwork together, because we obviously can get a chat and kind of talk about what we're doing and kind of bounce ideas off each other and whatever. So I like the admin side for that, because you're able to communicate with your peers and stuff. But yeah, I definitely would change the least favourite, and the thing I would change would be the paperwork. Definitely get rid of the paperwork.
Right, well, thank you for being able to come here and answer these questions.
Thank you.
It was very nice to
Thank you.
hear your opinions.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
I'm Ellie.
And I'm Sarah.
Thank you for joining us at Extreme FM.
Please join us next week to see what we got up to at the Bake Off.
Thank you for listening.